for the AM 950 special and get your Cyber Monday deal of 3 rooms of carpet starting at $119 plus $75 off an air duct cleaning. Zero Res.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 24, tonight cloudy with a low around 15, and Wednesday sunny with a temp falling to 9. Savor the excellence at Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville. Elevate your taste buds with their range of sandwiches from the savory Philly steak to tempting turkey bacon avocado. Explore crispy chicken, fish, brisket, and pulled pork options. Check out mavericksbeef.com or visit them off Lexington and Roseville. That's Maverick's Real Roast Beef.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome to The Gailey Show, the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. I'm your host, John Parker, and no matter where you live, from P-Town to Alabama to Montana to Seattle, we got you, America. All right, in the studio with me is my executive producer, Jim Pounds.
Hey, all.
Also live streaming on our YouTube channel right now. And if you like what we're doing, either watching right now or watching later, subscribe, leave us a comment. We want to know how you're liking the show. Yeah, that's what I have to say. I have a programming note for folks in Chicago. So starting December 8th, you can catch the Gailey Show at our new time at 10 p.m. Central weeknights. So starting December 8th, Monday, we are moving from 5 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock in your evenings. Nighttime hours. So please make a note of it, update your Google calendars or your Siri calendars or whatever, and we will see you at our new time in Chicago on WCPT 820 starting this Monday at 10 p.m. All right, what is on the show today? After our first commercial break, we're going to do a roundup of today's crucial LGBTQ headlines. Speaking of Chicago's Wrightwood 659 has a new exhibit on the Joffrey Ballet. The curator, Professor Julia Fuchs, will join us to discuss. It's a mini election day in America, so we're going to check in on a few races. But up first, the K economy. Jim, have you heard about the K economy?
Read a little bit about it. That's an odd term. I don't get the term, but I know what it refers to. So
the K economy, think of the letter K. And so you have the stem of the K, but then you have the top of the K, right? It's going up, it's pointing up, right? And that's basically the 1%ers, that's our billionaires, that's our 100 millionaires, that's our multimillionaires. Basically, their incomes and their household wealth right now in this economy are going up and up and up.
That's about 7% of American adults.
Okay, there you go. Do you want to fact check that? Make sure that we've got that right. Anyway, their income going up. Then you have the other part of the K, right? The downwards stem that's pointing downwards, and that's the rest of us. Middle class and the working class who aren't seeing their incomes going up, who aren't seeing their household wealth going up. But we are seeing steeper prices at the grocery stores. We are seeing steeper prices on our healthcare insurance premiums starting in January. And if you're looking for work right now, it's awful. All right. They're calling this the jobless boon. And that's more and more of us. Here, I want to call out a very specific company, Amazon. Gave $1 million to Trump for his golden ballroom. In the meantime, they are axing, guess how many jobs, Jim? Sorry,
60,000?
No, 14,000 jobs. It's one of the biggest layoffs in their history, according to AP News. And just want to say, hang on, let me finish my thought on Amazon. So they've donated to the golden ballroom for Trump. Killing 14,000 jobs. And then the Boston Globe just did a study, like they wanted to see who is getting SNAP benefits. Where are they working in that state? And Amazon was number one on that list. The number percentage-wise of folks receiving SNAP benefits work at Amazon, because they're not getting paid a living wage, probably because they're not getting raises every year. And so they're donating to Trump, who is fighting tooth and nail, spent the entire fall fighting tooth and nail to cancel SNAP benefits and to make sure that they weren't going out on time. So the job, finding a job right now, we're in the jobless boon. It sucks. And here we have FedEx cutting 850 jobs. The company Fiverr just cut 30% of its workforce. Geico, Jim, how many jobs did Geico cut?
1,000.
30,000 jobs. Intel just laid off 5,000 people. Kroger cutting 1,000 jobs. So all of these people, literally tens of thousands of people, just from 6 companies, tens of thousands of people are now going to be in a market that is called a jobless boon. And some economists calling it one of the worst job markets in the history of the US, recent history, to try and find a job.
Can we ascribe accurately a lot of that blame? At least some people have blamed it on AI.
We're going to get to AI.
The replacement of humans, with baloney.
We're going to get to AI.
Yeah. So that's a factor here.
And
I know it's a factor.
We also have a problem with the unemployment rate, because people are going, well, wait a minute, the economy can't be that bad. It's not really a K economy because look at the unemployment rate. It's low. Well, do we know these numbers are accurate? With Trump in charge, we know that the monthly jobs report data is sus, basically. And so investors actually have started looking away from the traditional monthly jobs report. They're looking at what is the private sector giving us in terms of data. So you've got the payroll processor, ADP. You're wondering, what's ADP? Your check at your job is most likely coming from ADP. Like if you see an ADP in your check, that's who this company is. And they claim that businesses added 42,000 jobs in October, making up for losses in August and September. I don't know if it was making up for losses, but there were losses in August and September. They claim in October, 42,000 jobs were created. But the firm Challenger, Gray, and Christmas claims in their October report that job cuts surged 175% from this time last year. 175%. Am I boring you, Jim? You're already on your phone.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to find a way to. I feel like there's a lot of numbers, but I'm trying to think of a way to pull it together so that it says there's something happening. Do you know what I mean? Like is the economy bad, or are what I think is what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to get across is that capitalists are saying we want more profit, and the best way to do that, we've already cheapened down our products to the point where they're terrible and they only last 2 years. So we've done that. We've taken all of our manufacturing overseas so that we can pay them $1 a day. So we've done that. So the only thing left to do is to use AI to squeeze out all this middle management and all these other workers.
I'm going to get to AI.
To improve their profit. I think the motive is improving profit, not because their sales are down. Do you know what I mean?
You done? Okay.
Thank you. And good night.
So another one is consumer spending. To your point, people are like, oh, well, the economy must be doing well because of consumer spending. However, as it turns out, rich households, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, it's rich households that are keeping that number up. They are spending more. But when you dive down into the data, the rest of us are piling up credit card debt. We're actually, fun fact, buying less, but having bigger credit card statements because the things that we are buying are more expensive and getting more expensive every month. Even better, to your point, Jim, about making profits, corporations are giving us less. So they're recognizing that it's the high earners that are doing the money. And here's an example that AP News used from Coca-Cola. Apparently, Smart Water and Fairlife milk, their filtered milk brands, lots of rich people love buying them. So they're focusing in on those brands to market them to higher income folks. For the rest of us, I love this. For the rest of us, they're not actually bringing down the cost of Coke. They're just making the can smaller.
Yeah, that's
now maybe we shouldn't be drinking Coke all the time. That's a lot of sugar is bad for you. So they're literally just you can have tinier cans of things. So we're gonna do more lines of products for the rich people who can afford to buy them. For all y'all, you can just buy tinier things of things that you used to buy beforehand, right? To your point now, Jim, about AI, that is a huge factor here. All of those job losses that I was citing earlier, a lot of them are coming from AI. Amazon being a good example. AI is displacing 14,000 people. That is literal machines taking people's jobs. And it's actually wealth generation right now. So the stocks of companies, I found this also in AP News, the companies that are demonstrating the biggest growth or some of the biggest growth this year are those that are investing in AI. But unless you have stocks, investments in those companies, you're not realizing any of the gain of that financially speaking. So yesterday we were talking about AI with Dr. Samuel Clues-Hunicke about how it's being used in higher education and the problems with it and the environmental impacts of it and the ethics of it. And also and I didn't know this, he was talking about how using AI actually makes you dumber. That was breaking news to me, to finding out that your brain isn't making the connections that it should be doing when you're using AI instead of thinking for yourself. But here now, maybe this is the reason, or one of the reasons why we see AI everywhere, is that it is a moneymaker for these major companies because they're slashing employees, driving up their stock prices. And here we are. Unless you are invested in those companies, you're not seeing any of the money of that. And you're more likely going to have your job cut. And now you're in a jobless boon where it is impossible virtually to find a job. You're just staring at me, Jim.
It's going to be very difficult when you have a president and an administration that is working against the American worker, against all kinds of American businesses. It's going to be very difficult usually you'd have a president who would say, well, I'm also worried about working people. This one doesn't give a crap about any working people. Mm-hmm. And so there's nobody there to advocate for you at all, except a few Democrats here and there. Nobody has any power. So this is going to take, I'm not sure that it's recoverable because AI is going to replace these jobs and they're not going to come back.
Well, apparently AI is one of the first people, when you see some lists here of whose jobs are going to be lost first, apparently radio folks and podcasters are on the top list of folks that are going to get cut because you all just want to listen to an AI voice breaking down the news for you and having commentary, right? That's what you want to hear? Well, if you still want to hear human beings, particularly queer ones, you can come back after this break. We're going to have a roundup of LGBTQ headlines from today. You're listening to The Gailey Show. More after this break.
This December, Fortune's Fool Theater celebrates 20 years of creating theater in Minnesota with a free festival of Pirate Mayhem, featuring two irreverent R-rated musicals in repertory, Yar, the Lusty Busty Pirate Musical, and the world premiere, Have Yourself a Lusty Busty Xmas. 3 powerhouse women playing 20 roles, a live orchestra, hilarious songs, and sword fights. Join the Comic Madness December 5th to the 21st at the Hive Collaborative in St. Paul. Tickets are free as a gift to you. Reserve at fortunesfooltheater.org.
Holiday shopping is easy with the Park Tavern. From now until December 31st, stop into the Park Tavern, buy a $100 gift card, you'll receive a $25 Park Tavern gift card for free. You heard that right. Buy a $100 Park Tavern gift card, you'll receive a $25 gift card for free. And the best part is you get to decide which gift card you keep and which gift card you gift. The Park Tavern is open regular hours throughout the holiday season, offering great food and family fun. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, the holidays are just better with the Park Tavern.
Guess who's back? That's right, it's me, the Grinch. Don't miss seeing me at Children's Theatre Company this holiday season. Can those Who's down in Whoville make me into a lover of Christmas joy? Doubtful!
Yeah, but you'll have to come and see for yourselves. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas is the perfect holiday treat for the whole family because of me. Yeah, the Who's are in it too. But you'll love it anyway. Tickets and showtimes at childrenstheater.org.
Hi, I'm Mary T. I'm a proud supporter of AM 950 because this station shares the values that I care about most: community, connection, and making a difference. Just like AM 950, I believe in using our energies, our resources, and our voices to lift up others. That's why I started the Mary T. Scholar Program at the University of Minnesota College of Education and Human Development, providing graduate students with internships internationally. For over the past 10 years, our students have served communities in Laos, Cambodia, Nepal, India, Cameroon, and Thailand, gaining experience and helping people in ways that really make a difference. Supporting AM 950 fosters conversation, awareness, and action in our communities. It's about shared values and believing that together we can make a difference. Visit marytinc.com to learn more about the work that we do.
History Theater celebrates the fascinating history of the St. Paul Winter Carnival with the world premiere of Rollicking, a winter carnival musical November 22nd through December 21st in St. Paul. Discover the strange, wonderful heart of a tradition built on resilience, imagination, and the enduring spirit of our snowy state. Discounts are available for students, seniors, and groups. Don't miss this vibrant premiere. Find details now at historytheater.com. That's historytheater.com.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour. We're starting a new feature today here on the Gailey Show where we take this time of the show to go through some of the major LGBTQ headlines happening in the world, in the country today. So we're going to take a little tour of what's happening in LGBTQ news. We're going to start over at LGBTQ Nation. This is a story written by Danielle Villarreal. The headline is, "A trans woman secretly recorded her doctors during cancer surgery. She's suing over what she heard." This is a bonkers story where apparently she secretly recorded, the patient secretly recorded, a trans woman, her surgical team making transphobic comments about her, apparently during the surgery. It's a bonkers. She has stage 4 rectal cancer. And the operating room staff preparing to remove her malignant lung tumor said that she had man parts. Yeah. So there's that headline over at LGBTQ Nation. Also at LGBTQ Nation, headline, Catholic University dials back trans support after being called out by conservatives. So this article is written by Fafix Collington. Apologies, Fafix, if I said your name incorrectly. But essentially, a Benedictine university in Illinois held a Trans Day of Remembrance event, so a couple weeks ago, and was standing their ground about having it, and then Fox News started reporting, and yeah, they walked back from that. Cool, right? Cool. This is a story. This next one is from Aaron in the Morning, and it's one of those with friends like these stories. So it's by Aaron Reed, who runs Aaron in the Morning, amazing Substack. Y'all need to be subscribing to it if you haven't already. But the article is the headline, Dem Senator Gallego's leaked texts echo far-right gender panic and misogyny. Now, for folks who don't know, Senator Gallego was just elected in Arizona and had his text messages leaked last week where he was lamenting, according to Aaron Reed's reporting, that Democratic women look like men and men look like women.
That is so. I feel bad that
Senator?
Ruben is that dumb.
Really? Senator Gallego?
You know,
already in hot water earlier this year because he was coming out against trans athletes And so it's like, what is happening with Senator Gallego? We will have to keep tuned to Aaron in the morning, because Aaron Reed is on this story. Every time I see a new headline about Senator Gallego, it's coming from Aaron Reed. So that's another story. You're like, what is happening? Over at the Washington Blade, sorry, Jim, did you want to jump in about?
No, I was going to say that's the second senator that I had supported, Fetterman being the other one, that I thought these are pretty good people. And then, my Lord, did they. So this is the thing. This is why you can't necessarily trust just that there's a D or an R after somebody's name, and they can come off a certain way and wind up being something else. So as we talked about, Governor Newsom would be a good example of that. So got to keep on them. You got to keep learning and evolving your thinking about them, not just what letters behind it.
There are certain Democrats that are trying to make the argument that you have to drop the LGBTQ community to win races. And I think when you look at the successful gubernatorial campaigns in Virginia and in New Jersey, when you see Zohran Mamdani's campaign in New York, there are folks that are starting to make the case like, wait a minute, you actually don't have to do this. And we're going to have Jake Wittig on tomorrow, Chicago Journalist of the Year, Jake Wittig, who's going to be talking about, is there a rainbow wave coming about LGBTQ candidates, like a whole slew of them in 2026. But there are these Democrats that are making this argument, and they're continuing to make it. And Aaron and the Reed, particularly on Aaron and the Reed, has got Senator Gallego's number. I can tell you that. Over at the Washington Blade, the Victory Institute headline: Victory Institute to honor Biden, former President Biden, at D.C. conference this week. So the former president is going to receive this award on Friday. This article is written by various staff reports. So the LGBTQ plus Victory Institute, which we all know is a institute that helps people who want to run for office, specifically LGBTQ people. There's trainings, webinars, whole conferences that you can go to. They're like, you want to run, we will help you run, whether it is running for your city council all the way up to you're running for senator of the United States. So they are honoring former President Biden at their International LGBTQ plus Leaders Conference in DC this Friday. A little bit of history from the Los Angeles Blade that I learned about. So this was last week on November 29th. West Hollywood, the headline, West Hollywood celebrates 41 years of queer cityhood. The article is written by Christy Song. And so I didn't know that West Hollywood was incorporated 41 years ago. November 29th, 1984 is when they became an independent city. And WeHo city officials now are trying to preserve the fight for queer safety and rights that began decades before. I will say that I did get to interview the mayor of West Hollywood earlier this year. You can find that episode on our YouTube channel. We were talking about new ordinances that West Hollywood was implementing for poly families and gender nonconforming families. And so it's really interesting what they're doing there. They're not the first city to do it, but they're definitely on the wave, the front of the wave of that. So we're definitely going to be staying tuned to that and seeing how it plays out, because other cities should be considering this as well. And then over at the Buckeye Flame, a new article, the headline: Experts warn Ohio lawmakers Republican-sponsored bill could protect parents who abuse LGBTQ youth. So the article is written by H.L. Comeriato. The subhead is: Ohio sexual violence and sex trafficking experts are warning against a bill that eliminates emergency path to safety for LGBTQ plus youth. It is a scary bill that would eliminate the Ohio Mobile Response and Stabilization Services Program, which currently allows, I'm reading directly from the article here, currently allows mental health professionals to provide minors ages 14 and older with temporary outpatient mental health services without obtaining consent from a parent or guardian. So for those of queer folks of us who know, not parents are not always great about this. And so this was an opportunity, a resource for kids to use. We'll stay tuned to the Buckeye Flame, and they're reporting to see what happens with this bill in Ohio. That is our queer news headline roundup for December 2nd, 2025. We are going to take a break here, and we're going to come back and talk about an exhibit that is currently at the Wrightwood 659 in Chicago. You're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPTA 20, Chicago's progressive talk. Stay tuned. See you on the flip side.
Hello, Minnesota. This is Stephanie Miller. Make sure to
talk to her.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. You are on a hot mic, so we're still live on YouTube right now. FYI.
Great.
I'm John. I'm the host. Nice to meet you.
I'm Jim.
Very nice to meet you, John and Jim.
Professor, may I have the correct pronunciation of your last name, please?
It's like the old folks at home, Julia Folks.
Julia Folks. Okay. And then the exhibit itself, is it the Joffrey plus ballet, the Joffrey and ballet in the U.S.? What is your preferred way of how to say it?
It's a good question. I think either one has different interpretations. I was imagining the Joffrey and ballet in the United States.
Perfect. Great.
But
okay.
Plus too.
Okay. Thank you for that. The Joffrey and ballet. All right. Do you see on the right-hand side of your screen the private chat?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to have to switch back over to the live feed right now. So you will see in there, I'll put how much time is left before we come back. So you're not like wondering what's going on. Oh, he's suddenly talking. So I'll put the time cues in there. When you see me go like this, like I'm in your class, that's just to let you know that we've got about a minute left before we hit the break. And so you don't have to feel like I have to stop talking. You can just gently conclude your thought, and then I don't have to step over you and interrupt you. So that's what that little hand raise stands for. Do you have any questions for me before we switch back over?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
All right. Thank you, Professor Folks. We'll see you back in here in a couple seconds.
Sale. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $119, plus take $75 off an air duct cleaning. You don't even have to wait for a countdown clock to expire on a big box website to get your Cyber Monday deal from Zero Res, but this deal won't last forever. So make sure to head on over to ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZERO-RES right now and ask for the AM 950 special and get your Cyber Monday deal of 3 rooms of carpet starting at $119 plus $75 off an air duct cleaning. Zero Res.
Greg Bachman here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 24, tonight cloudy with a low around 15, and Wednesday sunny with a temp falling to 9. Savor the excellence at Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville. Elevate your taste buds with their range of sandwiches from the savory Philly steak to tempting turkey bacon avocado. Explore crispy chicken, fish, brisket, and pulled pork options. Check out mavericksbeef.com or visit them off Lexington and Roseville. That's Maverick's Real Roast Beef.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPTA 20, Chicago's progressive talk. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm John Parker. It is 33 minutes after the hour. Jim Pounds, my executive producer, is here in the studio with me. We're also live streaming on our YouTube channel right now. So if you like what we're doing, please subscribe, click that like button, leave us a comment. How are you enjoying the show today? A professor of history at the New School, Julia Folks is the author of A Place for Us, West Side Story and New York, and Modern Bodies, Dance and American Modernism from Martha Graham to Alvin Ailey. She is the curator of an exhibition currently at Wrightwood 659. It's only there till December 20th, folks. It is the Joffrey and Ballet in the U.S. It features over 200 photographs, performance footage, and costumes. Professor Folks, welcome to the Gailey Show.
I'm delighted to be here. Thanks for letting me talk about this exhibition that I love so much.
Oh, absolutely. We are I have to admit to folks, and you're going to learn it right now, listeners who have been for a while. I love ballet shows, like not just like the shows themselves, but like shows about like the recent one, like Étoile on Amazon Prime. Like I just get a kick out of watching those. I think they're so cool. They're some of my favorite queer films as well. When you see like queerness in a company. Anyway, long story short, I want to know about Joffrey, pioneering ballerino and choreographer, and tell us about Joffrey and the work that he did and how it's now led to this amazing exhibit that you all got going on at Wrightwood 659.
Well, I was delighted to be asked to curate this exhibition, partly because I didn't really know that much about Joffrey and I didn't really care. And so it's nice to actually launch into research without having an agenda and sort of see what the archival materials tell you and what they show. And one of the things that I found just so striking, sort of just going with open eyes through there are 900 boxes of the Joffrey Company archival boxes, over 5,000 reels of footage, an enormous archival record that was donated to the New York Public Library for the Performing Arts. And so the exhibition is a kind of first pass through this extraordinary history of this legendary company. And in many ways, this company has not kind of been written into the story of ballet in the United States. And that's part of the exhibition title, is to sort of suggest that the Joffrey actually has a central role in the larger spread of ballet across the United States. So that was certainly one of the things that I found through the records, is that it was born in New York, but it has been in Chicago now almost 30 years. And so almost half its life. It's about 70 years old. Started in 1956. But even in its years in New York, it was touring all the time. And it was seeding ballet throughout the country. It was appearing in gyms, in libraries, in small auditoriums, in tiny towns. And the whole idea of Robert Joffrey's vision for this dance company was to make ballet for everybody. That meant literally bringing it to everybody, so that they didn't have to come to a big city to see it. And it also meant changing who was in a ballet company and what was performed on stage. And that was a vision that he had as a young person. He declared that he wanted to build a dance company, a ballet company, at the age of 11. That is not a typical preteen dream, I don't think. And it's, often you want to be on stage. You want to be the dancer. You want to be the choreographer. You kind of don't imagine that you want to be, start a dance company and direct it. But in fact, that was his dream. And he began writing lists of ballets that he wanted this company to perform. So already he had in mind a very different kind of dream for himself, but also a different kind of dream for ballet, which is one that had a variety of dance in it, that expanded notions of what ballet dancers could do and what ballet could contain. And then also who was on stage, because he was not who you might expect to be a ballet dancer. He was a short person, 5'6", which is not very tall for a male ballet dancer. He was the son of an Afghan father and an Italian Catholic mother, and was born in Seattle. And so all of those things kind of made him unusual from the typical story of very dominated Russian influence on US ballet, the dominance of New York, all of those things. He did come to New York as a young man, and came with, at that point, a person who had met, who was his romantic partner, Gerald Arpino, and then also became the co-founder of his company and one of the primary choreographers. And that meeting of Gerald Arpino and Robert Joffrey occurred in Seattle. And it was because their mothers were both Catholic, Italian Catholic immigrants who knew each other. Arpino was there on the Coast Guard and went and saw this family friend, followed Joffrey to a ballet class, and basically never left his side, really. And Arpino said the company is what dreams are made of, and was really born of their relationship. Even as they parted as romantic lovers, they remained dedicated to one another, and more importantly, dedicated to this idea of a ballet company for everyone.
So tell me about the everyone part of that. And I guess I'm curious because it's the Gayley show of the LGBTQ part of this. Like, I think it's like figure skating where everyone just presumes that everyone's gay and figure skating. And then you actually kind of find out like, oh, wow, it's kind of a homophobic sport, kind of like football. And so talk to me about the LGBTQ element of the exhibit and the Joffrey Ballet Company and that history.
Yeah, that's a good thought about skating, because I would say, in my research anyway, I think the arts are actually more of a welcoming home for gay people, and particularly for gay men in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s. It There certainly was, of course, a lot of discrimination, but they found each other, right? Like men in particular, gay men found each other in dance, and there's just well documented stories about that. And I think Joffrey and Arpino's beginning speaks to that. Like, here we are. We can actually make a ballet company in the United States together. We can certainly probably also, take on a lot of discrimination, but we can carve out a niche here. And we can carve out a niche that attracts other gay people to it. So the company was full of gay men in particular. The role of gay women actually in dance is sort of less documented and less well known, although it's certainly there. But in ballet, and for the most part, for American men, it was usually coded homosexuals and coded for other, gay men to sort of see and really find each other in many ways.
Have some construction happening?
I actually, there might be some construction happening.
It's either that or a very upset animal.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how to change that. Let's see. It's happening outside my building.
Okay.
Sorry
well,
about that.
we're talking with Professor Julia Fuchs, curator of the Joffrey and Ballet in the U.S., currently on exhibit at Chicago's Wrightwood 659.
I could try to stop it if you give me a moment.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna. I can't take a commercial right now, but if you want to just take a moment, Professor Fuchs, we'll put you on mute and we'll see what's going on there.
Thank you.
I'm going to mention the fact that it's thrilling to find an organization that's older than I am, because it was founded I read that it was founded in 1955. She mentioned 1956. So I'm younger than the Joffrey. That's.
I think it should be good.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I forgot what my question was about. Oh, we were talking about the LGBTQ component too.
I have more to say too. I particularly want to sort of mention the materials around AIDS in the exhibition.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot. You just said that you went through. I mean, what was it, 5,000 hours of footage?
Yeah, 5,000 reels of footage.
Oh my gosh! I mean, and then over 200 photographs, and there's the costumes. Like, talk to us about. I don't know. How do you go through all of that? And then B, what were the things that you found were salient to tell the story of the Joffrey Ballet, their impact on the larger ballet world in the U.S.?
Well, one of the things I thought, again, like going to this material kind of new with open eyes, I was really struck by that the story was the company. Like, the triumph is the company. Of course, Robert Joffrey is key to that. But what really struck me was that the company itself faced bankruptcy again and again and again and again, particularly in New York in particular. And then it was fragile when it moved to Chicago for the first 10 years or so. Its extraordinary strength right now in Chicago is recent and a tribute to that city's dedication to the company itself and making a strong foundation for it. But the fact of the matter is, ballet companies generally are fragile. And so the company is the triumph in so many ways. And that's what really struck me, that I wanted to tell the story of the company, which include over 400 dancers that have appeared with as the Joffrey dancers. We name all of them in a scrolling reel, and I think those are the kinds of things that I don't think are typically seen, as well as like a section on the business of ballet, like that sort of talks about all of the different ways in which they tried to make money and survive. Make money means literally, now of course they're nonprofits, just trying to survive and pay their dancers. Right. That just required an enormous amount of effort. And there were continually struggles, whether it be the NEA funded touring through the 1970s and then decided to stop it. So that had been an enormous amount. And then they had to find that. Then they had the devastation of AIDS, which really tore at the company's heart in so many ways, because Robert Joffrey succumbed to the illness in 1958. In 1988 at the age of 58. And there's a story in the exhibition about a young man, Edward Sturley, who died shortly, just a few years after Joffrey, at the age of 23. And he was like Joffrey in many ways. He was shorter, he was a bit stockier, he wasn't what you would see as a conventional ballet dancer, perhaps, but Joffrey picked him, knew that his talent was great, and brought him to the company, and he began choreographing very early on, and had already choreographed a few pieces by literally just the debut of his third piece just days before he died in 1991. So there's ways in which, this kind of coming waves of challenges of various kinds that the Joffrey kept enduring. And, one critic sort of says that Joffrey should have as its, symbol, the phoenix, the phoenix constantly sort of rising of various challenges. And I think that that's really maybe less true today because it's so solid. But this period, this historic trajectory really shows all of the challenges that it took to get there.
Wow. Are there any special, I know this is probably an unfair question. Is there a particular part of the exhibit that you would particularly recommend to folks that is special to you?
It's pretty all awesome, of course, I'm going to say. But there is an immersion part that we put in, which I really love, which is a 1967 ballet of Robert Joffrey's. He didn't choreograph a lot, but he choreographed with distinction. And he had this piece in 1967 called Astarte. And we created an immersion room because it had projected film footage. It was about sex and attraction and kind of even drug culture and the sort of transcendence, seeking transcendence moment of the counterculture. And there's a commissioned rock score and this footage that's occurring both behind the dancers. And a man arises from the audience, takes off his clothes into his tighty whities, dances with a goddess, and then exits the stage with a camera following it onto 56th Street in New York City. So we tried to create that experience because that really changed so much of what we might expect ballet to be.
The exhibit is the Joffrey and Ballet in the U.S. It is at Wrightwood 659 until December 20th, folks. You can get your tickets at wrightwood659.org. Professor Folks, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Thank you. All right. So coming up next after the break, it's mini election day in the U.S. We're going to break down what's happening. You're listening to The Gailey Show.
Across this country, LGBTQ rights are under threat. This is a struggle that the LGBTQ community knows all too well. Since 1987, Outfront Minnesota has been fighting for LGBTQ rights and protections here at home, and this work is needed now more than ever. Hard-fought wins here in the state of Minnesota are at risk, from the ban on the harmful practice of conversion therapy that passed in 2023 to transgender protection secured in our State Human Rights Act in 1993, and even national recognition of our same-sex marriage protections that we secured in 2013 are at risk. Outfront Minnesota has helped Minnesota become a national leader in LGBTQ rights, and they will hold the line to make sure we don't lose what we've gained. But they need you. Now is the time to step up and support Outfront Minnesota and LGBTQ rights here in our state. Outfront Minnesota needs your financial support today to strengthen LGBTQ protections at home, at school, and at the state capitol. Learn more and make your gift at outfront.org/give. That's outfront.org/give.
Some versions of A Christmas Carol are hot toddies, sweet and cozy. Open Eye Theater's holiday tradition, Scrooge in Rouge, it's a Boilermaker, a raucous Victorian vaudeville-style musical that spikes your holiday with camp and chaos. Scrooge in Rouge is backed by audience demand for the third year in a row. Celebrate the holidays with Open Eye Theater, now through December 28th. Bring your friends, bring your festive spirit, and leave your figgy pudding at home. Christmas can be a drag in the best way. Tickets at openeyetheater.org.
Mon beau sapin, roi des forêts.
Francois, you're decorating Christmas trees.
Regardez ces sapins de Noël décorés de macarons de chez Nicolette.
You can buy Christmas trees decorated with Nicolette's macarons. Are there any new holiday flavors?
Oui, à la menthe, chocolat chaud et Snickerdoodle.
Peppermint, hot chocolate, and do you mean Snickerdoodle?
Oui.
Oh, and every day for the holidays, Nicolette's will be at Dayton's Market downtown and at Southdale.
Joyeux Noël.
Now on view at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Step into the splendor of Cambodia's Khmer Empire with Royal Bronzes, Cambodian Art of the Divine. This groundbreaking exhibition showcases the empire's exquisite bronze artistry with statues, ritual objects, and artifacts that reveal a fascinating blend of mystery, devotion, and royal power. See the enduring legacy of Cambodia's sacred metallurgical traditions as you witness over 200 objects, including a colossal sculpture of the Hindu god Vishnu. Tickets and information at artsmia.org.
Get the perfect holiday gift. Chanhassen Dinner Theater's gift cards never expire and can be used for any show. White Christmas, the concert series, Stevie Ray's Comedy Cabaret, or coming soon, the high-rolling musical spectacular Guys and Dolls. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Shop local this holiday season with AM 950 advertisers. From theaters and wellness shops to restaurants and retail, there's something for everyone. It's a great way to support the station and local businesses. Find a full list of these partners at am950radio.com. That's am950radio.com.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. We are already coming up on the top of the hour. I am John Parker. It is a mini election day in America. And if you are like me and want to watch election day like a pro, you should be over at Bolt's Magazine, boltsmag.org. They've got a breakdown of all of today's races. There are actually 25 in the entire month of December. But let's take a look at what's happening here today. I'm just going to do an overview, Jim, and then you can jump in, particularly because I know you want to talk about the congressional race. So in Tennessee, the 7th congressional district today, they are having an election, obviously, and it would be the upset of 2025 if the Democrats can flip today's seat. And there's, some thoughts that they might pull it off as a, to bring people down back to earth. Trump won this district by 22 points in 2024. But we've seen bigger swings in special elections for state level offices, and folks are not really happy with the Republican Party right now. So, Jim, we're going to talk more about that in a second. But we also have elections in Atlanta, Georgia for their city council and for their school board. School boards from the left, so liberal and progressive school board candidates have been doing particularly well in 2025. So we're going to see what happens in Atlanta. There are some left-leaning groups that are facing some establishment Democrats to try to get more, establishment Democrats are trying to get more on the school board there, but we'll see what happens. Also in Georgia, the Roswell and Sandy Springs cities are electing mayors. It's a big day in Georgia. South Fulton, Georgia, they're electing their mayor and city council today. In Jersey City, there is a mayoral election. Also, city council members are up there. In Hoboken, New Jersey, there is a mayoral election. And in Miami, a mayoral race in Miami, plus their Miami Beach Council are all up today here in the United States. Jim, do you want to break down more about what's at stake and happening in the Tennessee 7th congressional district race?
Well, what's interesting here is that this has been a heavily red district. If you go back 3 or 4 elections, the Republican was winning 73 to 27%. It was a slaughter. And the last election in 2024, was 59.5% Republican, 38% Democrat. And then for some weird reason, they've got all these independents that run, which I suspect, have always suspected, are the people that the Republicans have put up to run. They did it in Minnesota. They'd get somebody in the marijuana party to run, and that would siphon off a percentage point or two from the Democrats. But anyway.
Step back from your.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Popping.
Too close. So what I'm projecting, the latest poll was 48R, 46D, and I'm projecting that the Republicans going to win by a 53-47 type of margin. It might be as low as 50% to 47. So it's going to be close. But that's really interesting. I mean, could be a real nail biter, especially if people ignore the independents and put their money on the Democrat, which of course we hope they will.
Well, we did see a swing like that in the Florida special congressional district races in April, where the Democrats lose by 25, 30 points, right, and they lost by under 10 points. I think today would just be amazing if they could flip the Tennessee 7th, but I guess we'll have to see what happens there. I don't even know how to trust polling anymore, because we see these polls and then think, oh, it's going to be a tight race by 1 point, and then it turns out to be a 15-point spread, and you're like, what happened there? I'm particularly looking at I was going to say Iowa last year. I mean, by the gold standard pollsters that were like, oh, Kamala's going to win by 3 points, and ended up that Trump won by 12. So I don't know what to do with polling right now. I know I'm one of those naysayer polls are all bunk, but grain of salt with polling.
It's going to be interesting, and I think it is going to be close, and it would, with the elections happening in early 26, that is a Democratic seat that we're going to pick up in Texas. That's always been a Democratic seat, unless this redistricting makes that not possible. But we're going to be somewhere around 216 seats in the House to 219 Republican if we win this one today. So that is razor thin. They have like a 2-seat margin to work with, and they have done a terrible job with a 5-seat margin. So it'll be
for a little bit there, they're going to lose Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat, so they'll be down that vote.
It's going to be really interesting.
Very, very interesting. I guess we'll be watching it tonight. Decision Desk HQ is my preferred place to watch for calling election results. AP, obviously everyone loves AP, but I've noticed that Decision Desk HQ gets them out faster than AP does. Sometimes it's only about like 3 minutes, but when you're watching, 3 minutes counts, right? And obviously, check into Bolts Mag. They've just got, it's such a great guide that they have here, really succinct, very well laid out there. And each race here is maybe 2, 3. There's one here that's 4 paragraphs that really breaks down what's at stake here, what's the state of the race. And so boltsmag.org. They're not paying us, by the way. I just love this publication, so I'm not actually getting paid any dollars from them to hype it up. I just really love what they do over there. Really like it. Okay, I don't think there's anything else really to say about Election Day today, except for if you live in Tennessee or in Georgia or in New Jersey, please go out and vote. We are a pro-democracy show here, so please find your polling location, get in line, and make your voice heard. That is all for us today. Okay. Again, programming note for folks in Chicago, WCPT 820, starting Monday, December 8th, we are moving to a new time. We will be at 10 p.m. Central, so weeknights at 10, you can listen to The Gailey Show. Of course, you can find us anytime on YouTube. youtube.com/@thegailey-show. We actually have whole playlists of Chicago LGBTQ news there. But anyway, for right now, up next on WCPT is Choose Views with Richard Chu on AM 950 Radio Minneapolis. It is the Matt McNeil Show. Stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio, and then at 10 p.m. Central, step into the unknown with Greg Bakken on Ghost Box Radio. And until this time tomorrow, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.
This holiday season, something fabulous is